with the first player, and that's Dak Prescott. So coming off his best fantasy performance of the season, we know he missed 5 games with a thumb injury, but still not throwing the ball a lot. And Adam, you've talked about this on our podcast about what the upcoming schedule is for Dak Prescott and maybe how the defense has performed, how the running game has performed. Are you looking to acquire Dak Prescott, or as a Dak Prescott fantasy manager, are you concerned that he may not continue to reach his ceiling?
I'm concerned about that for sure, but I wouldn't exactly say I'm panicking. I'm not looking to buy Dak Prescott. The Cowboys run the ball. They have the 4th most running back carries in the NFL. They average almost 25 running back carries per game. We'll talk about that more when we talk about Ezekiel Elliott. And they have 9 games left, and 7 of them are against teams that rank 20th or worse in points per game. So I think their defense being as good as it is, they're going to dominate a lot of these teams. They're going to win a lot of games. They're going to run the ball a lot. Dak is still really good, though. I mean, he completely carved up and had a huge game against the Bears on only 27 pass attempts. So he's still a top 12 quarterback rest of the season. I'd take him over Justin Fields, but I don't think he's going to be a league winner. If you have Dak Prescott and another good quarterback like a Kirk Cousins or something like that, then I think you're fine selling.
Imagine saying another good quarterback like Kirk Cousins. All right, let's stay in the same team there, Heath. And Ezekiel Elliott just watched Tony Pollard have an absolutely fantastic performance with 3 touchdowns and dominated the Detroit Lions. But Jerry Jones, no surprise, says it's still Zeke's team. As a Zeke fantasy manager, or looking to maybe acquire Zeke, how do you approach the Cowboys backfield?
If the Zeke fantasy manager thinks Tony Pollard's taking the lead role in Dallas, then I would be purchasing Ezekiel Elliott, because I still think he's going to get around 15 carries a game. I still think he'll have 1 or 2 catches. I still think he's the most likely Cowboys running back to score a touchdown on a weekly basis. I think he's a borderline number 2. When there are no buys, he's probably a high-end flex. But if somebody thinks that Tony Pollard is going to be the clear lead back and they're just getting away from Zeke, then I would purchase.
Okay, so if you buy him low, now's the time to do it. And again, some fantasy manager may not have had Zeke for 2 weeks, could be struggling. Maybe go get him for a very low ball type of offer. Naji Harris, Adam, is somebody that has been very frustrating. And I think as we've talked on our podcast, we were redrafting today. He might not be a top 4 round pick, maybe not even a top 6 round pick. It's been that bad for him. But now there's a guy out of the way. Chase Claypool's gone, so maybe a few more targets go to Naji Harris. And maybe, as we talked about, some concentrated opportunities go his direction. Is now time to go get Naji Harris. The schedule's going to lighten up a little bit, and maybe things are better for him rest of season.
Panic. I am not buying it. I think he is who he is. He's been, he is who he is in this situation. They still have a really bad offense, not getting any better without Chase Claypool. Maybe gets a few more targets, but I'm sorry. The guy doesn't even have a 20-yard carry. He has over 100 carries. He is incapable of making a big play. He scored 1 touchdown on the ground. Maybe that goes up a little bit, but not in a significant way. He's a flex. I am not purchasing.
All right, so still staying away from Naji Harris again. If you can get him cheap, why not see what there is to discover there? But yes, don't overpay for Naji Harris. It's been a miserable season and could continue to struggle. Deebo Samuel just watched. The 49ers offense look fantastic without him. Did not play in Week 8 due to hamstring injury. Christian McCaffrey was the entire offense, getting 3 touchdowns, 1 through the air, 1 on the ground, and he threw 1. Brandon Ayuk was great. George Kittle was great. Is it panic or purchase time for Deebo Samuel?
I think it's hard to sell just because of that hamstring injury. If you tell me he's going to be 100% rest of season, then I think he's probably going to be a mid-range number 2 wide receiver. If I can sell at a top 12 value, I'm 100% selling. If I can buy for less than like a wide receiver 18 value, then I'm buying and expecting that there will be weeks where Deebo takes a back seat and McCaffrey and Ayuk are good, or McCaffrey or Kittle are good. But I also think there will still be boom weeks for Deebo Samuel.
Yep, just a frustrating situation to watch him not play. The team be fantastic, and you know Christian McCaffrey's there and doing wonderful things. All right, last guy we're going to talk about here, and this one I know is near and dear to your heart, Adam, and that's Courtland Sutton, who's been very, very frustrating in the last 3 games. Russell Wilson in and out of the lineup. They're on their bye week this week for Week 9. Are you going to try to acquire Courtland Sutton on the teams that you did not draft him?
Well, only if people are really panicking over Courtland Sutton. It's not like he's never going to have a good game again. I don't really understand why Russell Wilson can't give us 2 good wide receivers. Is that like so much to ask? Does it have to be just Judy or just Courtland Sutton? But that's the way it's been, unfortunately. I don't think Courtland Sutton is done being a producer. I think he's a low-end number 2, maybe number 3 wide receiver going forward. I'd rather have Deebo Samuel than Courtland Sutton, guys like that. But I think if somebody's considering dropping Sutton or just he's a throw into another trade, then you could have some value here. You could have a guy that helps you out. But I have lowered expectations for sure. I think going forward, he's about top 30, maybe top 25-ish wide receiver.